We're all finished at Lexington. Any training on Saturday. Today is Hambo Day. Oh my God, I ran into Ron Burke on the track. It never dawned on me because, you're so self-absorbed with everything in this industry. I'm watching the horse and it's just a beautiful day. Never dawned on me. Do you know how many horses he has in today?
No.
15 on Hambo Day. So he goes, "Oh, you're not going either?" And I said, "No." I said, "No, our filly didn't make the final, so I didn't go." And he goes, 4 flights were canceled. He said, finally, I just said, well, God doesn't want me to be in New Jersey today. And he's 15 horses racing on Hambletonian Day, and he's here in Kentucky, and he can't get out. So, disappointing, I'm sure, for him a little bit. I know he's been there and done that with everything in this industry, but Hambo Day is still Hambo Day. And I'm sure Ron is not very pleased with, and it's hard to believe because it's a beautiful day. But I guess they just had so many flights delayed or in this area over the last couple of days, or playing catch up, and they can't get planes in. They weren't getting people out, and a bunch of flights were canceled. So I'm sure he's disappointed, but at the same time, could be worse places to be stranded than Lexington, Kentucky. Now, as I said, we were training this morning. I was very happy to report a couple of things right off the bat. First off, Scott Zeron went down in an accident. Obviously drives some of our horses, but a pretty close friend, and where Amy had stayed was at Scott Megan's in New York for the vast majority of her time down there, and Scott had gone down. I'll tell you, when I saw him hit the ground, there's not a whole lot to Scott, right? He's wiry, but there's not a whole lot of body fat there. And when he hit the ground, I said, oh man, hip, shoulder, wrist, oh, that's not good. And talked to him the next day, and he said, actually, I don't hurt that bad. I had full barrage of x-rays. I have a small line in 2 of the lumbars, L2, L3. He said the doc said a couple of weeks and I'll be fine, which is so weird because for me, I'm thinking, for people that are, and this, you have to understand how God, I've said this a million times, I only know 2 guys like Scott. There's Scott and Ronnie Wren, and everything is work. This is my job. And if horse racing dissolved tomorrow, they would just do something else, where everyone else would spend the next 2 weeks crying. That's not to say that they don't love the game. Of course they love the game. The game has done so much for them. But it's just their mindset with this is my job. And Scott said, yeah, so I'll be back in 2 weeks. I watched them walk into the winner's circle, and I'd be like, I'd be driving on Hambo Day 1,000% for sure. But Scott also is a consummate professional, and he doesn't want to drive when he's less than 100%. That's just how he is. It's such a contrast, and it's just different, and good for him. I mean, to understand that there's something past, your life right now and the age you're at that you have to live later on, and you don't see that a whole lot in this game. That's for sure. What?
Nothing.
What were you gonna say?
I think the way that you were raised in this industry is a lot different than some other people. And you have that, I need to pay my bills.
Yeah, that hunger is always, you're right, that hunger is always just below the surface. And to be honest, that's probably, maybe, I guess I want to say one of my biggest detriments is that I always played rough. I always played with a chip on my shoulder because I remember what it was like to be hungry. I never forgot that. I never will. And for somebody that constantly came up the right way, don't kid yourself. When you talk about James McDonald and Scott Zeron, the amount of time they put in becoming drivers, I remember every Sunday, Scott and then later on James would go to Clinton on Sunday afternoons and then rush to Flamborough to race it on on Sunday nights.
No, I'm not saying that
No, I know.
Like
I 100%.
I'm just saying I don't think you're wired the same way.
No.
Upstairs.
And I wish I was wired like they are. But James is a little bit, but Scotty, everything is perfect, right? And I love that about him. It's just such a different look. I look at him and I say, I don't understand how you operate, but I'm sure he looks at me and thinks the same thing.
Like multiple times a day.
So it's just different strokes, and good for him. I wish him a speedy recovery, and I've been there, and I felt bad when he hit the ground. I just watched the accident. I'm like, oh, that looks so bad. That looks like, because you don't have to break your hip to hurt your hip. I remember when I hurt my hip, I didn't break it, but I couldn't walk right for 3 months.
even just body sore
shoulder,
in general,
shoulder. And he said, like, poor Jason Bartlett too. He said his shoulder joint is sore. I mean, what can you do for that?
Nothing.
Maybe injection of cortisone or something. But again, it still have to take time, right? You just never want to see that, especially the timing of it all. Oh my God, I felt bad for the both of them. But, you know, they're both at the top of the food chain, so they'll survive and they'll bounce back. And glad to see Megan's horse win the final and Randy's horse win the final. Old Mama Hutchison did the job there. Yep. She should be picking out all her horses. Yep. So, so I'm glad that Scotty's okay, and I'm glad that Jason's. It appears. Well, listen, he didn't break anything major. He will be okay at some point. I just don't know when that is. So speedy recovery is what I'm trying to say for both of them. Yeah, but I just want to take my time. I don't want my wife getting angry at me, all right? Jailbird Jog, happy to report her SAA. There are only a few little concerns. Her differential's still a little bit flipped. Dr. Roberts was less worried about that than hearing that her SAA 3 days ago was 54, which was concerning to me also. If that number had arisen over the last 72 hours, I couldn't in good faith look at a differential flipped and a high SAA and say, hey, I think we should race this filly. No matter how she looks, we have to, as they said so often during COVID, we have to trust the science. So I was so glad to hear her SAA was down to 8. So a great job by Amy, by Dr. Latessa, by Jason, by everybody involved, making sure that we covered all our bases heading into tomorrow. And I'll try and do the best job I can do in driving her.
Don't screw up.
We'll see how that plays out. So got Jailbird Jog tomorrow. Degas holding pattern is in tomorrow. So is Prada Ornata. Should be a good Sunday. I'm just taking in the Saturday. I wish that we could go somewhere. I wish there was a sports book. I know Red Mile has one, but I wish there was a sports book where there was, like at Lex Live, I wish there was TVs where we could watch the Hamiltonian card. What? Are you still bitter because your filly's not on the Hamiltonian card? It's 6 days. Turn the page, girl.
It's going to be 6 months.
Oh my God, you got to let things go. You want to be a driver? Good luck.
I don't want to be a driver.
You're going to have a stroke.
I have one drive.
You should have more. You got to learn to turn the page. It is what it is.
I'll turn my page when I want to.
I don't think she's wired the same as you.
That's 1,000% for sure. Unfortunately, you are wired just like me, so don't be too clever. So, Jailbird's SAA was down. Unfortunately, the other side of that is Travel Blog's GGT is very high. So he won't be racing next week. In fact, you may not see him surface until the 1st of September. And I know that's not what all my partners want to hear. We've been waiting with bated breath. That qualifier was so impressive. And I can't even tell you. I know there's people out there saying, well, maybe he qualified with the high GGT. He might have. I don't know. But we can't race him with a high GGT. I've never seen a horse race even remotely good with one yet. Prada Ornata is still reeling from hers. Yeah. So I just...
Don't make that mistake twice.
No. We're not going to be making. We're not making that. We're not making that mistake twice. So he's going to race when his GGT comes down. Amy jogged him today. The horse looks great. He's got a ton of weight to put on too. I bet you in a month he's 80 pounds heavier than he is right now. Yeah, he looks really, really good right now. So a little sweet and sour for everybody to start your Sunday videos. Jailbird Jog cleared to race. Travel Blog not, but both in good spirits. You know, I was just going over last week, and a bit of an odd week. You know, we started off with such a crappy news about, Jailbird not making the Hamiltonian Oaks final. So that kind of ruined the entire. It felt like the summer at the time, but it wasn't. We were treated to an unbelievable mile for Atomic Hanover. He would have had to win, I think, to whitewash the week, but he raced unbelievably super. It's so weird. I want everybody to take in what just took place over this training season. We had some horses that really let us down. That's honest to God. You guys know that. We had some horses that let us down. We had some horses that jumped forward in big, big, big ways that were surprising. None, I guess, more surprising than Atomic Hanover. We always liked them. But to think that you have... Now think about this for a minute. You have a 2-year-old pacing colt. In his 5th lifetime start, paced 149-3, 27-2 on the end of it, on a 5/8 mile track. The most impressive part comes after that. He didn't even win. He was second. 3 horses sit atop that division. I think it's fair to say he's a clear-cut third right now. I like the Noel Daly colt. I like Moore's colt too. They look like they can fly. God knows how fast they can go. And we can follow them. Maybe by the end of the year, I'll tell you this though, Atomics is such a cool customer now. You saw him snap off the car, danced over that shadow, 2 of them, then came right to a halt as we went a half in 54, but he never tightened the line. He was 2 fingers the whole way. Yeah, you want to let him go? No problem. Right on the helmet, and then at the head of the lane, he tried to attack. We're just going so damn fast. But I said, what?
There's a first watch.
There's a first watch. There's a few of them around here. We went to one the other day with Scott.
Yeah, it's an Olive Garden.
Yeah, no. Don't even utter the words Olive Garden. I apologize. If you're out there and you like Olive Garden, I apologize. It feels like it's food that's trying to be better than it is. That's what it feels like. Am I wrong?
You grew up on ravioli.
I did.
Okay?
And if I was lucky, that was like a Saturday night meal.
So what do you...
Cheesecake.
Because I am a bit of I'm not a food snob. I'm not
Yes,
there
you
yet.
are.
Yes,
no, I'm
you
not.
are.
I'm not a food
Yes,
snob.
you
I'm a
are.
foodie.
10,000%
No,
are.
I am a foodie. I like food. I know that I am able to eat what I like and still stay relatively thin. Now, I did starve myself for 2 days, but I had it coming. As Smitty told me a long time ago, Blois McPhail told him, best diet in the world. Don't put it in, you won't put it on. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Smitty told me, he said, Blois told me a long time ago, best diet in the world. Don't put it in, you won't put it on. I laughed for 5 minutes straight when he said it. So, where were we at here? We somehow got from Atomics Hanover. This is our opening video. So Atomics Hanover, we've been treated to a very special horse, right? Jailbird Jog, special horse. Perfect Thought, special horse. Atomics Hanover, special horse. And as I forgot the other day, and my apologies to everybody, it appears Woodmere Rocket, special horse. We have 4 horses in our midst, in our barn. Now, we have a big barn. But to have 1, to have 2, to have 3, but have 4 horses that you would consider fairly special animals. These are horses that you can't replace. You can't go out and purchase one. Now, maybe if you have an unlimited amount of money, fine. But there's nowhere to purchase a Jailbird Jog, Perfect Thought, Woodmere Rocket, or Atomics Hanover at this time of year. They are not for sale anywhere.
Or Lou Armstrong, because we burned it.
Oh, but I called him a regional one. In my video the other day, I called Louis regional because he's not really Grand Circuit type, but he is a legit regional horse. You're 100% right. I guess I can't get to 5 because I missed Woodmere Rocket the other day, and now I'm missing Lou Armstrong. And Lou Armstrong is more special, though. You're right, because he is a homebred. Now, Lou Armstrong's sister is coming up behind him by Captain Corey, who's an exciting-looking individual in her own right. Globetrotting. We just talked about Travel Blog. We haven't got to see that colt race, but we will. And he shocked me the other day how well he qualified. No, I know, but we've seen, like I don't want to talk about horses that have let us down because it is a little depressing to know that some horses just didn't fulfill what we expected or didn't get to where we wanted them to. But that colt there, you
didn't train him enough.
You're right, I didn't train him enough.
Because I knew.
And I saw Jason train him the last 3 times. Jason Merriman, he said, Anthony, this is a nice horse. And I said every time, like, yeah, he's a nice horse. Okay, cool. We'll qualify him, and then we'll talk about how nice he is or he isn't. No, he is a nice colt.
I was super, disappointed when you told me that he had to get turned out, and the other filly, the Ohio filly.
Sweet and Steady. But it looks like we did right.
No, the other one.
Which one's that?
Because it was right after I left.
Which one?
Perfect Instead.
But we didn't turn out Perfect Instead. No, we turned out Sweet and Steady.
She hasn't raced yet.
Yeah, but again, I know it's disappointing when you look at this, and this will all tie into the most important video we're going to make all day, which is the one about the 2-year-olds. My thoughts on them, and this ties into the horses themselves, the entire different dynamics and groups that we have at play in the stable, and how we try our hardest to manage everything and keep everybody happy. This will all tie in with that. But you're 100% right. There were horses that didn't get. That girl, she just blew right. Well,
no, she doesn't need to stop.
That's right. That was his. That was his bad, not hers. A very important video. I think one of the most important videos of the summer is one that we're going to bring you this morning. But I did want to talk about everybody. Circling back, Atomics Hanover. He is a special horse. He is. And will be. Now, do I want to play third fiddle all summer? No. I don't, but we'll see how it all plays out. He is good enough to beat any horse in North America right now, I believe, but he's got to deal with two absolute killers here in... I guess we should park right here, right?
What are we doing?
Well, we're at the shopping center, sweet.
Oh, I thought we were going
I thought we were going
Wow, everybody thought we were doing something other than what we're doing.
What is your plan for eating? Because we're almost hitting lunch.
I've been starving myself for 2 days, so I'm just having something, packing away a little bit, and then I feel like it's supper in Lexington we need to worry about. What are we doing for supper?
What are we doing for lunch?
I just wanted to pick away at stuff. I'm not eating anything. I'm not eating
That's
lunch.
you.
Okay, well, I can
other
only
people.
speak for me, right? I can only speak for Anthony. So you guys have to figure out what you want to do for lunch. I'm happy to do whatever you'd like to do. We can go to Pies and Pints if you want.
He's just there.
No, we weren't. We were in Lexington. We can go back. It's 10 minutes away. You're the one telling me it's not a big deal when you're 12 minutes away in Lexington from anything. You told me that yesterday. Didn't you? Yeah. So, Atomics was good. You know, although Complete Unknown isn't a sire stake horse, and quite frankly, after the murder that occurred the other day from the sire stakes division, and what I mean by that is, you know, having those two colts, now I'm not going to say we chased anybody away, but those other two colts will. The Stallion Series division is going to be a little more snug the next two times they race. So Complete Unknown will finish off his stake season. I had somebody message me the other day and say, should just race him to October. Guys, again, we'll discuss most of this in the 2-year-old video. Well, that's coming up very soon. So Complete Unknown, I thought raced great. Did show a little bit of shutting his air off. Will alleviate that to a certain extent for his next race. Save America. You know, somebody say, he's got no fight now. He let go. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. The horse got 6 screws in his pasture, and the fact that he's racing, the fact that he made it back shows his focus and determination to be the horse that he is. Did he do the moonwalk late? Yeah, he did. Probably thought he had it in the bag, let his foot off the gas a little bit, and get picked at the
I'm
wire.
not sure he's done his best work on the front.
No, he races good on the front. No, you go ahead. Just turn that video up super loud if you don't mind. That'd be great. No, it's cool. We have a soundtrack for the video today.
What was that?
Yeah. Oh my God, cat videos.
That's
where we're at. That's
it
where we're
just
at.
came up on my phone.
It just you know what it said? This is probably a lady that might enjoy a good cat video.
It's actually cat ASMR.
Oh my
I'm
God.
gonna need alcohol if I have to hang out with you guys all day.
Yeah. So Save America did race good. Stacy, he must be a hippopotamus if Stacy says he's a little fat. So a little bit overweight. As he starts to lose that weight, I think racing will become easier on him. The good news is if he is racing right now, staying sound at this weight, he'll likely stay sound as he starts to lose weight also. So that is, I guess, the one good takeaway from it all. Yo Mister back to the winner's circle this week. Tyler drove the horse good. I was happy with him. Somebody said, 58. I don't really care if he went in 2-8. Win the race, beat 8 other horses, and get paid. That's the job. That's your job at the racetrack. And with Yo Mister, I don't think all of a sudden the lights went out like he's not fast. He's trotting the turns good, he's racing good, and he won the race the other day. So let's move on from there. I think it's very, very important. Arrowhead Hanover popped a splint the other day. He did pop a splint. I talked to Dan yesterday. He said, yeah, I don't really want to inject it. I'd rather cryo it. I said, Dan, I think we're in lockstep. When you inject splints, it's like you're trying to alleviate the pain in between, like stake races. If you have a proper time frame to cryo a splint, in my opinion, almost every time that's what you should do. People say, you inject them out, you shock them out. I guess it depends on the splint, but if you're having a 4 or 5-year-old horse that's popping a splint, probably should just go ahead and cryo that puppy and leave him alone for a couple of weeks. So that's likely what's going to happen with Arrowhead Hanover. Another surprise of the summer for the most part has been Bulldog Bell. Do you know what Mark told me the other day? He said, I cut her loose on the front end, she'll win in 52 her next start. That's what he told me. He actually said 51, 52. I was a little more conservative because I think he was a little aggressive. But she raced great again. One of our clients, Ron, had said, she's running in bad. I said, guys, here's the thing, right? Regardless of how her knees are, now Mark says she's 100% sound, but for sure she had to take weight throughout the spring into the summer as she qualified. And that weight would cause a certain amount of stiffness over her hind end. You always have to kind of treat the symptoms and the problem. The problem was always her knees. The symptoms would have been that tightness behind. Maybe she got a little stiff on that right hind. Now she's on that line. But I know that Mark's well aware of it, Dominic's well aware of it. We're going to get her checked out, but at the end of the day, if you would have said to anybody that owns that filly, hey, what about if I told you she'd be beat a half a length in 53 flat in August? Do you think anybody would be upset? No. She's a nice filly. So, just to go through some of the horses that have really, and I know I missed some, and I obviously spelled some names wrong here. I missed some. I just want to go through to make sure I have them in the right list. The only disappointing part of last week was the Philadelphia trip. PJ's Lovin' kind of ruined it for me. Pulling up on the front end. I was going to say something, but it's not. It's probably one of the worst attributes of any horse, of anything any horse can have. I'd rather have a horse kick, interfere, bite, fall down. I would rather have a horse do anything than pull up. So you have to work around that bad attitude and that deficit, and we can do that. But again, I have to ask myself, aside from Virginia, which is coming up, Randy made a great point. He said, even if she's good enough to win in Virginia, you have to race her in such a manner that the way she wants to be raced and beat all the other horses. Would it be beneficial to maybe put her up for sale as we head into the Virginia time? And that probably makes a lot of sense to me also. So likely now, in her defense, her GGT was very high. So not as high as travel blogs, but very high. So it'll take a couple of weeks to get that down. We'll put her in, race her, see how she races, and then go from there with respect to PJ's Lovin'. But Philadelphia did kind of leave a bitter taste in my mouth. One, I had to get up at 3:45 in the morning. Two, fly all the way over there. Three, there was nothing I really brought to the table. The horses weren't that good at all. It was very revealing, I think, the trip to Philadelphia, but not super helpful when it comes to me overall. So going through the horses, I would say we have 7 right now that are pretty decent stake horses. I think I might have cut some short here. I didn't put like Superway because I don't know what he's going to do. I didn't put X-Ski on this list. Although Willy Wide's won 2 stake races, I didn't put him on the list. Miss Lady May's done well. I didn't put her on the list. These are horses that are good right now, I guess. Atomics, Bulldog Bell, Dublin's Ferrani, Lou Armstrong, Popular Experts, Sunday Royale, and Woodmere Rocket, I think are pretty decent horses. In fact, all have won stake races, if I'm not mistaken. Atomics is at 2 seconds in his division, but it won the pop-up, and I think it's fair to say he's a pretty nice horse. Bulldog Bell has not won a stake race yet, but I think that's imminent, isn't it? Popular Expert has, Lou Armstrong has. Sunday Royale I put on here just because he does his work well. James swears that Making Green is on the cusp of breaking out. I thought he was on the cusp of breaking the other day, not of breaking out. Patty Bear, hey! Hey, you two. Frizzy hair? But James swears that Making Green, again, not from what I saw the other day, but he says, Anthony, I'm telling you, this is not the horse. Just let him come forward. Now, in talking about horses that haven't come forward, I'm actually going to take Caveman Pioneer and Landlubber over here for a couple of weeks. One, Landlubber fits in Kentucky. He's Kentucky bred, if he's good enough. I don't know his overall ability and talent. He hit his knee, it blew up. They have him ready to go. They schooled him the other day. He's still brushing his knee. I had asked Andre to make some shoeing adjustments on him as he comes over here. Tomorrow morning, it's very important, tomorrow morning, Caveman Pioneer and Landlubber will land in Ohio. I will train them up myself this week with Jason, and I believe Caveman Pioneer might race at the Meadows. So we'll be reaching out to everybody in regards to Caveman Pioneer. Just relax, take a deep breath. I want to look under the hood. James swears something is going on with this horse. There's some sort of power outage. It isn't obvious in his scope. It isn't obvious in his blood, but something's going on. So I'm going to get to the bottom of that best I can myself this week. So he will be landing tomorrow at Northfield Park. My plan is to race him once at the Meadows and send him right back to Ontario if we can get him squared away, if we can figure out what's going on with him. Maybe it's just shoeing. Maybe he needs a veterinarian to look at him, that maybe a fresh set of eyes type situation. We'll see. And Landlubber, if he's interfering, we talked last week. Oliver. We talked last week about the odd thing that X-Ski landed here. And, so I was talking to our clients, but I'd asked you, Superway's not hitting now. No. Remember when he's hitting in the Meadowlands, you sound like a drum set when you get up into 28 second speed. And he would get hot because of it. Yeah. Now, usually horses, the interference dissipates when they come to Lexington. Now you have X-Ski, who's never hit her knees, yet came to Lexington and put 3 marks on her outside knee. which was so weird. I know she's
staying. She
staying.
brushes behind the stone dust, but now she's not hitting behind.
That's right.
Here, and
She used to be the filly that wore the vet wrap and rubber inserts forever behind, and then one time hit.
Yeah.
We might go back to that with her also. Maybe put the rings on her, see how she is. I don't know, but I think it's a minor adjustment with her now. Rolling that over to Landlubber, here's a horse that is hitting his knees pretty hard in Ontario. Now at Mohawk, what's he going to be like over the Red Mile? If I want to see him train first to see where exactly he's interfering and if we can actually help him. If we can bring him maybe down to Kentucky. If the speed is there, that's the key. If he's a 56 pacer, who cares? Everybody down here pays 56. He has to be able to rock. If he can go, if there's a V6 or a V8 under the engine, he can make his way to Kentucky. Otherwise, we'll have to reassess after we train him. So those two horses are coming to Ohio. Where do they fit? Got some horses we just don't know. Horses that I wouldn't say have broken our hearts yet, but they're on the bubble of doing something, either good or bad soon. You look at Belladale. This was a filly I thought was a slam dunk in Ohio that, jumped on her foot, lost a couple of weeks, made that break in Scioto, come down here, did not look good or comfortable in Ohio, in Lexington, scoped her, full of mucus. Now we're trying to clean her up and actually get a feel, guys, for what she is or may not be. Dame Hanover. I'm not really sure what is going on with Dame Hanover. This filly was steering weird, like something was bothering her. Not soreness, but you could convince me it was a little bit of an airway.
I think it's her.
I don't know, but we need to get to the bottom of it. Tim actually thought she popped a curb. So that could play into it. He's going to get that curb cryoed. He said, actually, one bigger than the other. I didn't ask him. I said, if there's any glimpse of two curbs being there, I have the vet cryo them both immediately. So if that is what's going on, then it would be problem solved, hopefully, with her. But what does that, speed-wise, look like? What does Dame Hanover look like after? I'm not sure yet. Perfect Instead, haven't seen her yet, right? I think that Sweet and Steady is ready to hit the race bike next week, but not Perfect Instead, not quite yet. Prada Ornata. She's getting close to Heartbreak Hotel, I think. I just expect a lot more. She's got such a beautiful gait. I told you that picture. I was warming up the other day, and somebody taking a picture of her warming up one of our clients. It was Matt, actually, that was down. And I think it was Matt. Took a picture of her and sent it to me, all 4 feet off the ground, her head nice and low. She looks like a monster. Just hasn't got there yet, right? I haven't seen the monster in the mile just yet. St. Sarah, I think she's good. Pace is clean, slick gaited. Really overachieved the last 3-4 weeks from where she could be to where she is. She's looked very, very good. So I'm eager to see what she's going to do over the next few weeks. But again, where does she fit? I don't know yet. Stay Charming, qualifier. Won his qualifier, looked good. Still felt a little soft, a little rough around the edges. Does that mean he needs time? Or does that mean he'll clean this up in the next few weeks with a little more strength and power? I'm not sure yet. I don't know. Superway. He trained good today, though. He was perfect. Would you be able to race him with no head check and an open bridle?
If he's good on the gate.
Oh, he's good on the gate. You don't have to worry about him on the gate. Doesn't care about the gate. He never got out of gear.
As long as you don't mind him having his chin tucked down. I don't know if that's a good idea.
But was he grabby?
No.
Well, then he won't have his chin tucked down. Won't be a problem. I don't know if I want to race him with no head check, but I like that he was good.
He was pretty high on pulling up in that turn after.
Well, he always does. He always drifts in the turn after. But if you yell at him, he'll usually go on. That's good. Sweet and Steady, Travel Blog. Travel Blog looked amazing in his qualifier. We're just going to have to wait till that GGT comes down, and it's going to take 2, 3, 4 weeks. I guarantee you it will. But, Eric and Dr. Roberts have a pretty good rapport here. They understand this isn't their first high GGT or ours. They've done a pretty good job shoving them down, so hopefully we can get that cleaned up. And then Sweet and Steady, I really think she's there now. She is ready to rock. Really happy with what I've seen from Sweet and Steady coming back. Now the OK horses, X-Ski, I already trotted in 56, but I need to see her do her work proper, right? She's always had an excuse. Airway, blood work, tie-up, scope sick. There's just always been something. I said, Derek, we're going to make a few little changes and we'll train her a little bit on Monday. She comes back in 6 days. So we'll see how she looks on Monday. Training. Frolic. Pretty decent filly, I think. Frolic trained very, very good in New Jersey, really happy, or in Northfield the other day, and Tyler went with her because he's going to drive her Wednesday. I wanted him to get a feel for Frolic, and I thought she looked amazing. I actually wish after, I'm like, I wish we had entered her at Northfield, not at the Meadows, but that ship had sailed at that point. Really happy with what I've seen from Frolic so far. Miss Lady May, I love this filly. I think she got a lot to offer and a lot of speed. And the other day, she's got now high AST, high GGT. We got to get that down. And a lot of people are asking, Anthony, why are the GGTs? They're jumping for everybody, right? You have to understand, a lot of the things you hear from us, you're like, I don't hear that from anybody else. That's because they don't know or they're not telling you. That's the way it is. It's the same everywhere. You're going to watch horses. If you go up and down the program and look at horses and rate how you think they'll race, then watch them race and see how they race. The horses that race bad, you can be sure a number of things could be ailing them. And a high AST or GGT is two of the higher things in the summer. I have no idea why. I can't tell you why. Could be a million reasons why. All we can do is, it's one of those things, I tell you all the time, I don't like driving or training in a reactionary stance, so to speak. It's the same for training. I don't like having to react to things. But unfortunately, we can't be proactive when it comes to GGTs. We do the best we can. What a Houdini. Again, okay cold. I think this guy's going to break out towards the end of the summer. I like what I've seen from him. That I really think the other day when they had that no contest, I really think that was a race. He was 8-5, head the rail. I think that was a race he was going to break out and just.
That's one you could send him.
Yes. Well, he's turned out. He's out in the field right now. He's in Michigan.
Both of them actually.
Yeah, but again, they're both turned out. Both of them. So, what a Houdini and Willy Willy Wide also. Both these horses all those five have raced well. Horses that are turned out, obviously, Chips Ahoy Hanover had a line put in his foot, so he's off for quite a while. He's in the stall right now. I might just send him to Ontario so they can put him in the pool after a few months. I think might be the best for him. Cirrus is turned out right now. We castrated him and turned him out. Stop. I'm hopeful that Cirrus comes back really good. He was the first one that really broke our heart. And what's wrong?
Me?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Why's the angry face? Why the frowny face emoji? Cirrus was a tough one to take. He was the first one. He was not the last, sadly, but that's the way racing is. Deadline is turned out in Kentucky. He had a great guy there. He's turned out at Mr. Coon's farm. And he was asking about his breeding and how he was. So I'm glad he can put some weight on. We'll probably send him over to Ontario also to train back. History Hanover's out in the field right now. I just want to see him grow up and mature. A lot of these horses, I can see when they train, they're doing the same stupid things they were doing in March. That's just mental maturity or the lack thereof it. And with him, I just think you look at his breeding, you look at his gait, you look at the horse he is, you're saying, this is a nice horse. But just mentally, he's kind of let himself down. What are we doing?
Looking up something.
Okay. Incredible, same thing. Just the screws, just couldn't tighten them up in her head enough. And it was either, we got to a point where, now I believe if we start down this path, you're almost destined to be a condition claimer. Or we can roll the dice because we can always go down that path. We can roll the dice and hope that you decide, walk it back a little bit, back it up, put on your right blinker, and go down the right path. And she was starting down the wrong path. And that's why I wanted to stop with her. Juju Me is back in now, filled out nice, grew up nice. I'm going to send her to Ontario to train back down. Ollie, is there a chance that you can just sit still for just a minute? Just a little baby minute. So Juju Me is going to go over to Ontario to train back down. I can give you at least 6 reasons. I think this is a good play for us and a good smart move to move her over there. She's just starting back jogging now. Money's Tied Up is out in the field right now. We're going to give her a little time and start her back up. Pilot Caviar, I think we are going to turn her out. I just don't, again, I don't think there's any mental deficiencies. I think it's physical with her. She's going to carry worth because of who she is and her pedigree. So if we get her ready in December or November and race her through the winter, almost up to broodmare season, if we can get a good mark and some money made out of her, then we have options. We have paths that we can use. But I think continuing to race her as is, in my opinion, is an error right now. She's got classes out in the field. We'll bring her back in a little while. I'm not sure when. Maybe, I would say closer to October. Does that make more sense to you? September, October? So good. It's a big, strong filly. Obviously, some physical deficiencies. Dr. Brown couldn't find anything glaring on his exams. He did her knees. He did one ankle behind, I think. Chris said she trained better, but still was rickety, still was out of gear. Again, this has to be a physical immaturity thing. It's frustrating. Somebody said, well, she's always run, and we should have known she was going to be like this. Well, Jailbird Jog spent the majority of her 2-year-old training on the run also. So before you get too far into the weeds talking about what was obvious to you or not obvious to you, you may believe it was obvious, but that's only because they're your eyes, right? When you step back and look at it, there's lots of horses that have made a lot of errors training down that cleaned their gates up and ended up being really, really nice horses at 2 and at 3, and there's nothing stopping So Good from doing that. She's just not ready to go just yet. Spring Ice out in the field again. This was a horse, if you made me take horse and say, okay, who are we getting rid of right now? I guess you could have got rid of him, but do you not want to see if he's going to be a better horse? If I'm telling you that he is physically immature, do you not want to see if he's going to be a better horse? Because he very well likely could be. His sister was one of my favorite horses to drive in the last, if you ask me real quick, top 5 horses you love driving over the last decade, I think she makes the list. I'm fancy like. I love driving that filly. I'm going to turn a couple of kids out here real soon. So Spring Ice, I don't see why we wouldn't want to. There are people out there that are going to judge all these horses by how they raced in their first 5-6 starts. And there's part of my brain that'll do the same thing. But there's also a big part of my brain that looks at it and says, all right, they're not dead because they didn't reach the potential we thought they would reach in their first 5 or 6 starts. What is the problem here? Can we not just hit the pause button and let the horses grow up and mature and race? There are some horses, I'm going to tell you, I want to get rid of them. But a horse like Spring Ice, I don't think there's anything or any reason that we wouldn't give the horse 3-4 months off and bring him back, or 2-3 months off, bring him back and see what kind of horse he is. It just makes no sense to me that we wouldn't do that. Stuntman, a little bit different. Again, this is where less of the rubber hits the road. Is he good enough? I don't know. I don't have the information to tell you that. Spring Ice won his qualifier in 2-1. Like, there's speed there. There's ability there. Can he mature and grow into a useful horse? I don't know. We haven't even seen Under the Hood of Stuntman. Or maybe we did see Under the Hood of Stuntman and he's just not good enough. I don't know. But I don't think it's fair to judge these horses as their 2-year-olds getting ready for their 2-year-old season. There are...
Did he get gelded?
I believe so. Why wouldn't he be? He wasn't? Just ask
Yes.
Chris. Yeah, he was gelded? Ask Chris. I'm sure they gelded.
No, we did it before.
And then you look at the not sures. A lot of the horses on this list could fit on the not sures. Who am I not sure about just because I haven't seen them do work yet? Barcelona Mickey. I have no idea what he is. I'm going to find out Tuesday a little bit if Berea is any good at all. I'm going to race him. Gypsy Boy. Trained and schooled in 2-3. He's ready to qualify right now. Still don't know. Highland Fire and Ice. Not sure yet. I have no idea. We haven't seen her race. She's going to race this coming week. Holding Pattern. I think she's a big, strong filly with a lot of ability, a lot of talent, and the right work ethic. Does it translate to a horse that's going to race good right now? I have no idea. Landlubber, we just talked about him. Makeup, these are horses training down we don't know anything about. Miss Shazam raced her first start and then ended up getting cast or something in her stall. Was sore left hind. She's bearing weight on it now, but I don't think she's going to race for the foreseeable future. Whether that be 2 weeks or a month, I'm not sure yet. There's been nothing, people ask me all the time, I hear you, Anthony, when you say sometimes it's better to know than not know, right? In a variation of that. And I said, well, I would rather know what is wrong with Miss Shazam and build a timeline around that than not know what's wrong with her because nobody can find anything, because that usually means it's up high. It's really hard to diagnose in there. Imagine tearing your rotator cuff or straining your rotator cuff or a muscle in your shoulder or your hip, how sore that can be, right? But we're humans and we're not as big as horses, and I can go into the doctor and say, hey, my hip is sore. This is where the pain is. Mm-hmm. Horses can't do that. So you're left saying, well, I know she hasn't fractured any bones. I don't see any swelling to ultrasound. So we're left wondering about hip, pelvis. Is there something going on there? And again, until you get some of that, if there is inflammation inside, you got to wait a couple of weeks to get that swelling down. Then and go and say, okay, hey, yes, there's an injury here or there that we can work on. We haven't seen that yet with her. Mordecai Hanover getting close to the races. That little bout of colic she went through is gone past ancient history now. She's going to be at Mohawk this week training. I asked James if he would, what?
If they get her on the trailer.
Oh yeah, she's a bit of a cow to load and do anything with. I forgot about that. Yeah, she's stubborn. Oh, I hate that. I'm not going to go there. So Mordecai Hanover will be at Mohawk this week, we believe. It's about a 40-minute buggy ride. She doesn't want to go.
She can warm up on the way there, I guess.
The Rose Run Chief, again, I have no idea. I can tell you he's a tenacious bugger. He's tough. Now, if you're going to put me on the spot, are there any horses that need to leave? I need to never see a display like PJ's Lovin' put on in Philadelphia again. I can tell you that. So that's got a bitter taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Fine staff, nice horse, but is he good enough? I don't know. The whole line, I think, is slow. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's quite the opening. 41 minutes. Anything you want to add now that you're in Kentucky?
No.
Nothing?
Yeah, talk quite a bit.
I talked for 41 minutes. You talked for a big portion of that too. There's a lot of head nods. There's a lot of head nods and yeahs, and you did tell him part of a story for a minute.
Which one?
I don't know, what story were you talking about? Do you want to finish with, this was your first trip to Lexington on the track. I didn't realize, it never dawned on me that you'd never been on the track. Hard to believe how quiet it is,
Yeah,
right?
it's nice.
You can hear the horses walking up to the track, and it's just like they disappear.
Yeah.
It's like you're literally walk onto a pool table. It's immediately silent.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool, and it's.
I understand why they take shoes off.
Yeah, but 100%. It's also so weird as a human being. I don't know how it feels when you go on the track, but it's not like going on the track at other tracks. When you go on Lexington, to me, it's almost like everybody you're just quiet. Everything is easy.
Yeah.
The whole feeling in Lexington is like that. It's like that, just relax type situation, and it's a great feeling. It's a great place to be, and as I said, and I keep saying it to everybody, if you want to have a great time, if you only have one spot to go, and if you've never been to Lexington or you have been to Lexington, I would highly suggest this is a place to go. Relax, just be immersed in horses. This is a horse town, in horse racing, but it is a great place to go. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. We're going to walk around here for a little bit, finish up your videos today. If I can finish them all up, I'll have them out to you. I'll have them out to you hopefully tomorrow morning early, so that you can wake up to me. What better way to wake up? Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.